G'day y'all. Trying to get this video out. So hopefully I didn't wait too long to film this video because, I mean, we're a good chunk of the way through summer at this point. As I'm filming this, it's still July. But when am I going to edit this and post this? I don't know. But I want to at least get this off my brain because I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. I've had this list for a long time, trying to find fragrances that would represent like a mermaid. I don't mean just salty, right? Although that is an important facet for me in my mind, but it needs to be kind of like dainty as well. I specifically tried to find scents that are sunny, ozonic, aquatic, fresh, but like still an element of daintiness, right? That fantasy element that I really like. And I love doing these videos. I hope this isn't too similar to my fairy video because I started picking fragrances for this. I don't know. You guys will probably see a theme as I talk about these fragrances. So these are fragrances that I think represent the mermaid spirit. What is a mermaid? In a fragrance, you gotta have the aquatic element. Maybe you have that marine smell, might have that salty smell, beachy florals. I think I have a good mix of all of those things. It's a lot of flickering, as you can see. Just pretend like the flickering isn't happening. I'm gonna start with one that I've picked up recently, and that is Lattafa Mayar Natural Intense. This is a very heavy aquatic fragrance. You've got that heavy like cologne facet, which cologne is like that melony, cucumber-esque, like watery note that we smell a lot. It's also in a lot of body sprays and like shampoos and stuff. It's used in a lot of melon scented things. So it's got that heavy facet. It's got fig, so a little bit of a spicy fruitiness, coconut water, lotus, another very heavy aquatic floral, lotus, water lily, jasmine, and then in the base it's got sandalwood and vanilla. I love this. I think this is a really great heavy aquatic summer scent if you want something that'll like just pow, because this guy is so strong. He's so powerful, lasts a long time. This one lingers on the clothing a lot. At the top you have a little bit of that spiciness from the fig. It's very fruity. You got that melon in there, but it doesn't take over the scent. So if you're worried about something smelling too much like a shampoo or a body spray, that cologne is just kind of there underneath the florals. You've got that very heavy aquatic lotus, water lily, very edgy, very ozonic. It really like perks you up, very feminine. And then you've got a creamy sandalwood in the base. I love this one. I love the way it wears. It lasts all day. This is definitely a go-to for summer. Just be careful when you spray it because I feel like you don't need a lot for this to last a long time and project really well. All right, next one I have on this list is Arizona Bloom by Floral Street. You know what? This is one of the rare times I like that slightly fruity coconut. You've got coconut. It's a very musky, soft coconut. You've got cashmere in as well, so it makes it a little cozier. It does have salt. You've got a tiny bit of a bite. You've got fig leaf and you've got black pepper. But I find this to be pretty lush. It's got oak moss and amber, so there is like a lush green aspect to it, but overall it's kind of a soft fragrance. I like how soft the coconut is, and there is a little bit of salt, but it's not overpowering in here. There's no real heavy aquatic facet either. So if you don't like stuff like Mayar, where it's got a lot of those heavy aquatic florals, but you still want something that's very summery, this one is like very soft, musky, delicate coconut and salt with a little bit of an edginess from the wood, but overall it's a pretty soft scent. I would wear this at night, actually. I think I would wear this on a beachy day. I'd probably wear this at night, but you could really wear this any time of day. Very understated for a salty coconut scent. I actually have two from Floral Street. I hope that's okay. So the next one I have from Floral Street is Electric Rhubarb. Now this one's amping up that marine facet. This has salt and sea notes in here. It's really like cranking that up a bit. You do get that, but it's not overbearing. I think it's pretty well softened around the edges with the rhubarb and kind of the tang from the rhubarb. You've got frangipani in there. You've got a little bit of like a tropical floral. You've got a mishmash of white florals in there. You've got jasmine, gardenia. In the base, you've got like a powdery sandalwood. So it adds to the softness of this. I think on the initial spray, you get really that pow from that rhubarb. Rhubarb can be quite like almost kind of like a bitter freshness with the sea notes, but I think it's still very soft, very feminine. feminine with that powdery base. I think it's a really beautiful, soft, feminine, powdery, marine fragrance in a bed of some beautiful florals. So definitely a mermaid for sure. These are all marine mermaids so far, for the most part. Except for Mayar. Mayar could be, I mean, do mermaids exist outside of the sea? Can they be in other bodies of water? I don't know. Someone tell me. If you want a marine scent that is a little bit softer, more feminine, covered in florals, I really like this one. All right, the next one on this list is, to me, the embodiment of a mermaid. It's Celeste by Giardini di Toscana. This is the most dainty, candy-like, sea-like sweetness. It's got lime in the top. It's got seawater. It's got violet. It's such a delicate, powdery, sweet violet, and you've just got that slight tang from the sea notes, but it's so soft, so dainty, so feminine, and how it bounces off of that lime, it's like truly magical. It's giving fantasy. I love the candy-like facet in this one. You've got raspberry in the heart. You get more of that sweetness on the dry down. Almost smells like a very light, sweet saltwater taffy. Like a fruity saltwater taffy is kind of what it smells like to me. And then you've got that really delicate violet flower in there. This is 100% a mermaid. You could wear this any time of the year. I think the saltiness is what gives mermaid for me, like in my mind, but you could wear this at any time of the year. But this is such a beautiful fragrance. Like honestly, if these were more affordable in Australia, I would probably get a bottle of Celeste. I love the combination of the sea water and the lime with the daintiness of the violet flower. It's just magical. It's magical. It's giving fantasy. Get your nose on this one. It's definitely worth smelling. The next one on this list is actually a body spray. This is Victoria's Secret's Seaside Surf. This gives me very watery aquatic, but it's actually balanced more with yuzu. It's more of a citrus element, so you're not getting that really heavy, like perfumey aquatic scent that I know a lot of people are sensitive to and don't like. I think this is a very crisp sea water, very refreshing. It's got just a tiny bit of salt. This is like a mermaid who's been just washed up, like breached onto a rock and is just like being showered in the sun. It's got that really bright yuzu, which just makes me think of like a really bright sun just beaming down on you, skin super wet, shining everywhere, bright, sunny, happy, fun, girly. Oh, I love this one. Very fresh. It's a great feminine, fresh marine scent. It's not offensive. It's not like pow in your face. It's just very crisp and refreshing to me. Yeah, really enjoy this one. Not the most complex scent story, but I don't think that really necessarily matters. I think it's great. It's simple. It's salty. It's bright. It's great. I like it. Now, I know I have yet to do a video on Ellis Brooklyn. It is on my list. I did just crack open this discovery set and I have been smelling a couple of them. I just couldn't help it. I'm sorry. And I smelled this one. This is Salt. It's got Tahitian tiare flower. It's got ambergris, sandalwood. And it definitely was not what I was expecting. I smelled it and was like, okay, it's called Salt. There must be a salty facet, but it's really not salty. It's more of like a lush, dense, floral, ambery scent. It's got Lang Lang in the top. It's got tiare, of course. And you've got that really thick ambergris in the base. But then as it dries down, it kind of leans soapy. So it's interesting. You got this like really dense Lang Lang and tiare on this bed of like really juicy amber. But the more it dries, it goes soapy. It's so interesting. So while there is no salt in it, it's like a soapy, lush tiare, like really dense. If you want a really summery floral that's a little bit different and you like tiare, try this one. It's got a soapy facet and it's got that thick amber. It's just so interesting. I actually think it's pretty good. I couldn't stop smelling it. I was very surprised. I sprayed it on myself and I just kept smelling it. The next one I have is Aqua Divina by Bvlgari. This is definitely more of your straight to the salt scent. This is more of like a crispy, fresh salt. So the star floral here is magnolia. You immediately get that salt, but it's a little bit like crisper, fresh. You've got ginger, you've got quince. There's a nice edginess from the woody notes. This is kind of like a spicy mermaid. That ginger gives it that really nice bite. I feel like the salt is definitely the star of the show on a bed of magnolia. I am smelling fresh salt on the water. I'm right there next to the shore smelling it. Very beautiful, very magical. Why is that light now dimmer? Did I ruin the light? If you want like a salty freshie, try this one. You probably won't be surprised by me adding this one to the list. La Belle Paradise Garden by Jean-Paul Gaultier. This is a go-to for me for summer or any warm weather. You've got a beautiful lush iris in there. It's a little bit powdery, but then you've got the blue lotus at the top, which gives a beautiful aquatic nature. There's nothing sharp or pungent about the blue lotus. It's very creamy, it's very soft, and it's a simple scent story. You've got vanilla in the base, and I think it's just the perfect balance of aquatic, a creamy vanilla, and a nice powdery iris. If you like iris, maybe you're off put by a really heavy aquatic, but you still want something that's summery and feminine. This is definitely one worth getting your hands on. Again, it's a simple scent story, but I think it's just done so beautifully. Quentin Biche, I think, in my opinion, did well with this combination and the balance between the vanilla and the iris and the blue lotus. It smells beautiful. It's very lush. It's creamy, but it's got an aquatic nature. I mean, that is a mermaid. She's so lush, she's got like seaweed and scales growing on her. I mean, look at me, I've got algae. I'm lush as hell. I've got algae growing all over my face and chest. That's not lush. I don't know what is. All right, next up is another recent love that took me by surprise. I actually bought this by accident. I meant to get Aqua de Gioia. I meant to get a decant of Aqua de Gioia, and I somehow ended up with Ocean de Gioia by accident, but this is gorgeous. If you want a fresh summer fragrance that doesn't have salt, doesn't have a heavy marine facet, you want that aquatic essence, but it doesn't lean salty, try this. This one's got some green notes in there. You've got citruses. You do have salt, but it's not super salt heavy. You've got a little bit of a sweetness from pear, but it's just so soft. It's got musk in the base. You've got a little bit of, you've got rose and lily of the valley. You've got water jasmine. The florals in here are very soft, understated. It's a very delicate feminine scent without leaning too heavy into the salt, and still stays pretty fresh with those green notes. I think it's a beautiful balance. It's not too much green, but it's just enough green to make it crisp. And I think that's what makes this one so magical for me. So Ocean de Gioia took me by surprise. I love this one. It's definitely giving mermaid. Next one I have is Rose Saltifolia by Maison Crivelli. This one's weird, okay? In here you've got seawater, you've got some rose, which is a pretty heavy rose, obviously, given the name, not surprising. So it's a heavy salty rose, but then there's seaweed in there. And just stay with me, okay? It's got seaweed, it's got sand, you've got pink pepper. This has got to be what a mermaid smells like. You've got salty water, you've got seaweed, you've got sand, but you've got a little bit of a bite from pink pepper, but it's just laden with rose. True ocean scent. Roses, somehow they're growing in the sand. These roses are covered in seaweed. They're covered in salty water, and then the rose has just been sitting on the sand, just like basking in the sun. And you can smell all the bits of the rose and the salt water and the seaweed that's just all over the rose. It's beautiful. It's kind of weird because you would not expect such a heavy salt and rose combination. And then it's kind of, the seaweed in here is almost gourmand. The seaweed smells almost like I could eat it. Like it's a salted seaweed that could be in a dish that I'm eating. It's so odd. It's so unique, but it's gotta be a mermaid. It's for sure a mermaid. It is a very interesting olfactory experience. If you can get your nose on this one, I definitely suggest getting a tester first. Not a safe blind buy, but it is a very interesting experience to smell this one, so highly recommend. The next scent I have is Mediterrane by Fredric Malle. I know it's French and I'm totally butchering it. This is for those of you who want a marine scent without the heavy salt, without the heavy sharp salt. So the dominating scent at the start is the lily. It is such a fresh smelling lily. Like I have put my nose straight in the flower, and that's the lily. It's right there. It's a little bit salty. It's a little bit aquatic. You've got angelica in there. So it's almost like it gives like that really fresh green like pollen smell, like your face is right in there. You've got a little bit of ginger, so you've got a little bit of bite at the top, but really this is mainly a very lily heavy salty scent. I would say for an aquatic floral, this is the softest of them all. Probably one of the more expensive as well, granted. The balance in here of the really soft fresh lily and the salt is perfect. The salt is not too overwhelming. It really feels like I am smelling flowers on the beach. It's really beautiful. Very magical lily flower, straight on the beach. Definitely another one worth smelling if you don't like those really heavy, sharp, pungent aquatics. This one's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Beautifully done aquatic flower scent. It's just so soft and beautifully blended. I love this one. Okay, I'm pretty sure I did more than 10. I kind of stayed away from like warm and creamy coconut scents. I think I would put those in a different category. You know, things like Bronze Goddess or Alien Goddess by Mugler, Olympea Solar. Those really creamy coconut sunshine-like scents. I would label those a bit differently. All right, those are all of my picks for my salty marine mermaids. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.